Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Look, I don't even know if I'm going to start or Doug's going to start because both of us are excited. I want to welcome you. Welcome, everybody. Look, you have heard me and talk about silver for 2 decades, but there is a clear distinction I want to make. And I am not the scientist behind this. I am the person that's using this. Doug is joining me here today. Doug Godkin is joining me here today because he is an instrumental part of phenomenal organization that has created, in my opinion, and I did my own experiment recently, in my opinion, some of the best silver on the market. And he's going to break it down because whenever I do a show like this, I don't like to bring in hearsay opinions. And so let me start by this, Doug. Great to have you here. We got a lot to really unpack today because of what I've experienced recently. I go back to the East Coast and I was sharing with you, Seattle, we've got a lot of pollen. But when I came back here, this is a spring unlike any I've seen here in a long time. You can't even wash your car without the pollen. However, I was part of a project helping my friend get better and helping my friend's sister clear her house out after black mold remediation. Things all moved down, paint. I'm telling you, I walked in the garage about 10 days ago and I choked. And so when I'm here to tell you that on day 1, I was the only one using the nasal spray, and you're going to explain what that is. But by day 2, 3, and 4, each of them had, Linda and Karen had their own bottle, one with an L on it, one with a K on it. And although I couldn't explain the science of what it was doing, they got relief. And I am telling you, one of my friends was so choked, like choked from everything. Now, why am I so excited about this? Because look, how is it something so small can be so powerful? Now, what do you think about what I'm sharing with you? And let's just talk about your organization for a minute. I want to start there. Let's talk about where you guys began, why you began, and what brings you to the forefront today. Because the quality of what you produce, and I'm going to talk to that in a minute, the quality of what you produce compared to, can I say, just others, by far, I have just had a demonstration of how yours works and the others don't. So give everybody a little background about you guys.
Well, and if I was kind of staring, looking for anybody that's watching kind of expressionless, it's just, unpacking what you're saying in real time here. And yeah. I guess our whole approach to not just silver, but just wellness in general and what we do is absolute a minimalistic approach. And when we look at supplements and we look at caring for the body, the whole purpose of supplementation is to give the body what the body's not getting. And the unfortunate part is in the world that we live in today, people live to the classification that they've been given. So it's like, I've got such and such a condition, right? And everybody's out searching for what is going to fix my condition. Well, the only thing that's actually going to fix the condition is the human body. Okay? The human body is the healing, treating, curing machine. We just got to give the body what the body needs so that the body can do the job that it was programmed to do. And so what we're going to talk about in supplementation and silver and all this kind of stuff isn't at any means a reference to saying that silver is going to fix, treat, cure, or help. As well, you and I are both not medical professionals. So
No, we're
I
not.
want to make sure that the information that we're giving to people here is truthful, honest information as we know it, as science proves it out to be. And I guess the big one is what you've seen with your own eyes there.
Yeah. And that's where I'm coming from today. That's why I wanted to start the show with that example. And it is a small one of many. I can't even begin to explain, and I will during the show, the condition of both of my friends. One of them was so bad, Doug, that on the way to the store, the grocery store, got in the car, got to the parking lot of the store, could not breathe, had to turn around and come home. What do you think I gave her? Let's talk about it. But I want to give people that have not listened to the previous shows or not listened to you, I wanted to give them a little bit more information about what you all created, because you are about wellness. How do I know? Go to your blog. Let's give out your website right now. Let's just stop for a minute and do this throughout the show, because everybody, I want y'all to look for yourself. Go read the blog, because the one we're going to talk about today, one of them is about sinuses. But let's give people some information here, how they can find out about this and find out about you all.
Sure. www.ameolife, AMEOLIFE.com. And our phone number is 1-800-422-8148. And you know what I just quickly want to touch on is we're a company that actually answers our phone and wants to engage with our customers. Like, we want to be friends with our customers. And I was talking to my chief of marketing this week, and we were looking at a bunch of different things for tools for our business. And it's like, nobody answers emails anymore. The amount of companies that actually don't have a phone number on their website. And we're like, what the heck's going on here? Like, we want to be a part of the people's lives that we're working with and be here to support them all the way through their journey to better wellness. So Ameolife, www.ameolife.com, and the phone number again is 1-800-422-8148. So let's just talk about silver for a second. And we're just going to talk about silver in generalities for a quick minute, not silver in relation to our product or any other brand, just silver. And all of this information is readily available on the internet. It's all readily available through PubMed, through the studies, through everything else. But we'll just take it back to the periodic table of elements for a second, right? Because if we can talk about it from a scientific standpoint, then we're not talking about it from a healing, treating, curing standpoint, and it's a safe discussion to have.
Yeah, let's do it.
So when we look at silver on the periodic table of elements, silver is the only molecule or element on the periodic table of elements that's actually missing an electron. So what science and history has shown is silver is constantly looking to give and receive electrons. When we look at it from the world of what it can do in regards to the body, is we know that silver can actually steal the electron from yeast, from bacteria, from fungus, and mold. And this philosophy or this idea has been proven time and time again. So this is why we see silver going back to the Egyptian times, the Incan times, the Mayan times, Chinese civilizations. Like, silver's been a part of personal care, let's say, food preservation for tens of thousands of years, or however long we want to say that, the world's been around for. That's a whole other conversation. So anyway, silver's got a rich history. Let's just leave it at that for a second, of being a part of proactive.
Now, let me ask you a question before we go, because these are I got these questions this week. That's where they're coming from. Because, I went from a couple of people could not breathe, told them just do the silver, no explanation. I got questions. So when we say silver steals a molecule, we need to explain the juiciness around that and how important that is, because that is a thing that has been proven scientifically. And what does that mean when we say it does that? I know from my healing journey, when I looked at that, they called it 4-stage Lyme. Why are you alive? That's what they said to me. But when I learned about it, I didn't understand this science. I didn't understand how it was this magnetized thing that could grab these bad things. So from your point of view, let's break it down for people. I love that we're going here today.
Sure. So let's just take it back to a hypothetical journey of health for a second, right? When we look at what is hindering the human body and what is affecting somebody to not feel good, and I'm not going to put any labels of any illnesses around it. I'm just going to say when we don't feel good. Well, when we don't feel good, one of the things that can be making us not feel good is a yeast, is a bacteria, is a fungus, a mold. Think candida for a second, right? And when you think to putting a definition on the what's making me sick for a second, well, which one of those is it, right? So if we can naturally cleanse the body of the what's not making me feel good, well, then it's only common sense that the body can start to feel better and the body can start repairing itself, right? Because silver isn't a vitamin, mineral, herb, botanical that is replenishing the cells, is leading to any healing mechanisms. What it's doing is it's just cleansing out of the body what is hindering the body so that the body can heal itself.
Yeah.
And it's that easy. Yeah. And we can talk about the what makes us different and everything in what we've done with our approach to silver.
Yeah.
But the story's as easy as that.
Yeah. And I am going to have you talk about that later because I did a side by side only because I hadn't got my shipment yet. And so the only thing I had was a different. Mm-hmm. And this is an important conversation to have because, until you do something like what the three of us just did here, you don't realize the importance. Now, to your point, I want to just tell everybody and those of you that are listening to make sure that we're not making things up. I can reference many articles, but let me send all of you to an article that was published in, and I just want to say National Library of Medicine. You can look it up. You can Google it. It's the Center for Biotechnology Information. And the title of the article is Silver, an Age-Old Treatment Modality in Modern Times. And it goes on to say exactly what Doug said. It says the use of silver as, and this is their words, antimicrobial. Hello, what? Antimicrobial for infection spans hundreds of years. The ancient Greeks and Romans used silver to disinfect their water and food supplies. See, when people ask me, why are we still here as a species? It's because of these folks figuring something out so they didn't wipe us out early on. But it goes on to say that we now are talking about, the silver being approved in the United States by the United States Food and Drug. And at that time in the 1920s, they did it. And so where are we today? It is very clear in this article that what they say, Doug, is what you and I have been talking about it. And one of the reasons I believe I'm alive today is because they're talking about a treatment now, not you and me, this is article science, that it has established itself, not just from what you and I are talking about, but so much more. Specifically in this article, you ready for it? Prevention of high-risk infection in clinical wound care. Now, we're not going to go there so much today, but my point for anybody that's scanning this show, science articles. Now, let's talk about what this means. Go for it, please.
So you say in clinical wound care, the interesting thing, and anybody that's ever been in a burn unit, and I was a firefighter for 18 years in a prior younger youthful life. When you go into, when somebody is burned and somebody's got, second, third degree burns, what they're going to do is they're actually going to take care of that person with silver infused bandages and silver infused medical treatments, from ointments to creams to bandages. So when you talk about that article, and this is taking it over to the medical side of things, but that is what they're using in the burn units to take care of people in the most vulnerable stage when their skin is red and flesh and open. to the environment and infection, it's silver that they're putting on those. So
Yeah.
just, interesting to take that into consideration as we move into the natural health side of what we're talking about.
Yeah. And it's important because what I want to be able to say to everybody is there are many, many articles out there that I'd love all for you to read. But today's show is to really talk to you about what is available for you to get the relief you need. And again, this is something you have to figure out for yourself, but call Doug, call the organization, because once upon a time, there used to be customer service. Now there still is. And that's what's so important. But let's break this down. I think I've seen articles, scientific articles, articles that do what I want to call meta studies. They will take a whole range of study. But the one thing everybody seems to be saying now in these studies is one thing, Doug, and let's get to it. It is that while there seems to be an issue in some circles around silver, what people are saying is, look, the effects of this have been around. This article, the first recorded BC 335, BC 3, that's like a date, 335, this article documents it. And it says, how come these people were able to use it? And why are we raising an issue now? Now, you and I are not here to answer that today. We're here to say, is there a solution for you all out there for what's going on with you? Isn't that what you all have done?
I would love to talk about that other subject for a whole episode.
I hope you and I could, because people have come out now and they've said, stop, stop. I mean, great that you're looking at this, great that you're looking at toxicity, great that you're looking at that, but come on. It's how have we recorded civilizations that depended on this almost solely, Doug? And why have they learned of the power of it that they use it today?
Well, and let's just go to the human body for a second, and let's talk in absolutes for a second rather than what ifs, if that's okay. So here's what we know, and here's what we've known since the beginning of time, let's say, is our human body is a divine creation and our world's a divine creation to support health. Okay? And I'll leave it at that, and people can unpack that however best suits them. If we can get absolute natural into the human body as it was from the earth, we know what the human body is designed to do, right? It's common sense. What we know now and what we can see is the more that mankind manipulates ingredients, manipulates chemicals, manipulates substances to get those into the body, whether or not it's a medicine, whether or not it's a food, whether or not it's a personal care product, every time we take something unnatural and we put that into and onto our body doesn't know what to do with it, right? And this is just common sense. And if we look at the status of where people's health is nowadays and the amount of different things that people are suffering from, well, what's causing it all, right? Because we're supposed to be a way more advanced society now of people that have medicine and science and all this kind of stuff to make us better. But why are we sicker? Right? And it's to a point now where pretty much everybody that you know is suffering from something. Even the most healthiest person still has that ailment that they're just like, man, what's going on with me, right? So what's the common denominator? And that's what we have to look at. The common denominator is we're over chemicalizing our body. We're putting stuff into our body was never designed to do. So what's our body going to do? It's going to store it. It's going to create an inflammatory response, and it's going to make us sick. It's going to hurt our immune system, and we're going to suffer from the things that we're suffering from, right? Just common sense.
It is common sense.
So when we look at silver, when we look at different natural substances in what they were designed to do by the ultimate scientist, let's say, were to care for life. So you were talking about, the nasal spray, and you were talking
yeah.
about other things. And people feel better when they take it. I'm not saying this is going to cure anything or heal anything, but what we know through the education that we're talking about here is if we can get this into the area of the bodies where the body needs it, then it's going to help the body care for itself and help somebody to feel better. So, the forces at B don't like this product because it could be classified as a pharmaceutical device. Well, we're not selling it as something that's going to heal somebody. It's a delivery system to help somebody find relief from something that they need some relief from in a specific area of the body. The same as what we do with our gel, right? The same as what we do with the drops and the liquids. It's to help that person if they're feeling something in a particular area of the body and they need some help and support in those areas of the body. Let's get them that support. And the who, the what, the how we are in our approach to wellness is actually taking the most minimalistic approach to not having 100 ingredients in this and a whole bunch of fillers and chemicals and everything, but to do everything we can to supply this to the human body in a way that isn't full of chemicals, preservatives, toxins, or anything. So, like I say, I'm not the scientist. You're not the scientist. No. I look at it as the creator is the scientist. And he formulated stuff way better than we did. We got to follow his lead on getting the compounds, the substances, the herbs that he created into the human body so that the body could flourish.
Thousands of years ago. Thousands. See, this is what I love about the conversation we're having. This sounds new and therefore alarm, but it's not new. It's ancient. And to understand it, you can all do your research. But part of what you've created, and you're going to have to help me with this. Another example, same situation. I'm telling you, we spent the weekend over there. It was really hard work, no air conditioning. I mean, honestly, you could peel some of the dirt off of us, but we were in it and we were doing it and we were on a roll. But took a little break. They wanted me to go see something out in the garden. Watch the stickers. I go out, I'm walking up the little path. I got the top sticker, but they didn't tell me there was a bottom sticker. Got hit with the bottom sticker. The top sticker came flying. And I happen to be one of these sensitive types when it comes to skin. And so stickers, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. The minute it gets me, I got to put something on it. I had one thing with me. This house was not unpacked. I didn't know where. I had one thing on my body, the nasal spray. That was all I had. Right? Even before I could wash it. Now, I don't know. Normally, Linda knows me very well. She knows if I get stung by a bee, hit by a sticker, it doesn't matter. Something activates in my skin and it has this response. This very bad, I don't know if I can show people, but that was seriously bad, even on my elbows. That's what it is today, and I put one thing on it. Sorry, Doug, I didn't have the gel on me.
It's okay.
I had one thing, nasal spray. Now, I don't understand it. They didn't believe it. But there's something that I want people to understand, because if there's something we can do to help people, why don't we share it? Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not talking from scientists. I'm giving you a very specific example. In a house that was remediated from black mold, sticker bushes that I didn't even show you the rest. And I had one thing. I didn't even have water out there. I had my little spray. Why are you and I talking about this? I watched two people coughing, couldn't breathe, I can't even describe this to you. And I only had one remedy for them, the nasal spray. I had the spray and I had the bottle. So what I do, I said, drink it, spray it, drink it, spray it. And I said, I don't know how it works, but for me, I got to hit it once. I got to hit it again. It is hilarious to watch them now. They're getting in there and they get in the living room. They put their heads back and it's just hilarious. These are people, one of them in particular, had never heard of this before. But if it gives you relief, isn't that the proof in the pudding? Because that's what we're trying to explain to people today, isn't it?
That's exactly it. And we're just trying to help people to find a simple approach. And I find supplement companies, personal care product companies, and these kind of things, in so many cases, are making a very complicated story out of simple wellness. And I understand the reason why they do it. And it's like the whole world's always trying to one up each other. How do I make something more exciting? How do I come across, more relevant? But in all of that, we're getting away from the foundation of what it was in the first place. And I get told all the time, well, you guys aren't exciting. You're not doing what everybody else is doing. And why aren't you doing this? And why aren't you making these products? And why aren't you doing this? And I'm like, think about it for a second, people. It's not about how many ingredients you can stick into a pill. It's not how many ingredients you can put into a product to make yourself think you're better than the others. It's about getting the right things in the body so that the body can do what the body's designed to do, right? And first and foremost, in the healing journey or the feeling better journey for somebody, it's getting rid of that yeast, that bacteria, that fungus, that mold. It's getting rid of the boring stuff, because who wants to talk about that? But that's the foundation of what's not making us feel good, right? So if we can get rid of and help the body cleanse the foundation of what's causing the havoc on the body, then everything else we do on top of that's going to be more successful.
Yeah. And look, I want to talk about this when we come back from break, because the question that I get, and I'm just going to throw it out there because folks don't understand. That's why you and I are doing this. That's why I've been attempting to talk about this for a long time, but you have created something. And again, when we come back, we're going to talk about what sets you apart, because I did do an experiment, not because I wanted to, because I didn't have my order yet. I'm on the East Coast, so I had to order it from here as well as back at home. So for a short period of time, it wasn't working as well because I wasn't using your product. And it didn't dawn on me till I got my shipment in and we started to use it instantaneously. I can breathe. My cough is gone. When we come back, we're going to talk about this, but we're going to talk about the question that comes up. Is this okay to give my kid? Is this okay to give my dog? Before we go to break, tell folks how they can find out more. And then I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about the difference between the nasal spray. There's a couple of products I really want to walk people through if we could. I want to talk about how important this is to understand the differences and what you can use them for. And by the way, for those of you out there that were just thinking, where is that article? The article I reference is a 2022 article. It's called Recent Advances in Silver Nanoparticles Containing Nanofibers, which Doug mentioned, for chronic wound management. Doug, before we go to break, what is the best way for people to take a look, read the blogs? How do they do that?
They can find us at www.ameolife.com. And for anybody wondering, what does ameo mean? It means to love. So to love life. So find us at ameolife, ameolife.com, or 1-800-422-8148. And just a quick little one sentence on there. we actually love talking to people more than we like seeing them on the website. So
Yeah.
if you've got questions, if we love building relationship with our customers and being a part of their journey. So I'll leave it at that as we go to break, and look forward to keeping this going.
Yeah. And I want to tell you, don't be surprised if you go there, and I would encourage you to go there, order something. Don't be surprised they call you. It's okay. There's nothing wrong. They're just calling you. They're seeing how you're doing. That's what they do. They're checking it out. Let's take a short break. When we come back, what's the difference? Aloe-infused silver drops, aloe-infused silver nasal spray, pH balance, alkaline structured silver, and 365BC. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Hi, everyone. Dr. Pat here, host of the Dr. Pat Show. For about 20 years, you've heard me talk about silver and the importance of silver. I've been looking upside down and sideways to find silver that was the highest quality, and I think I found it. No, actually, I know I found it. I discovered this in my own healing journey, and that's what we used for me. Amio Life has the most advanced silver available today. All things that harm our health is what it takes care of. Now, I thought I'd seen it all because I've been on this journey for 20 years with silver, but I've not quite found anything like Amio Life. The folks and our friends at Amio Life have put together a special discount for your first purchase of 20% off. AmioLife.com. AMEO Life.com. Remember to give them a call. Tell them Dr. Pat sent you at 1-800-422-8148. I've already sent it to my naturopath. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Look. Yes, you guys, you reach out to me every time I do a show like this. I'm not kidding. I had never heard of silver. And then I got really, really sick. And I became a student. I was a student. I didn't understand it. All I knew was as I took this journey along the way, I got better. Sometimes I got worse before I got better. We're going to talk about that in a hot second. There's a name for that, and there's a very good reason for it. When your naturopath tells you drink a lot of water, you should really drink the water. Got it? Doug, before we get rolling here and we talk about some of the distinctions you've made, again, let's have that website, but let's have the phone number because I find it easy also to talk to your folks.
For sure. 1-800-422-8148. That's Ameo Life, AMEO Life.com, and that means to love life. So the number again, 1-800-422-8148. And like we were saying before the break, we love talking to people way more than we like seeing them on the website. So we want to help be a part of somebody's journey to better wellness. And I hope and truly hope from my heart that the information that we're sharing here is going to make a difference in some people's lives. And just it's not even about our products. It's just about what we're saying around the products and what we're saying around wellness to help people to rethink the approach they may be taking with their health. And if they're feeling stuck or in a place where they're just not making progress, just what we're talking about overall hopefully will help inspire as well.
Yeah, but I do want to make a distinction because without mentioning any names, it was very clear to me that in this journey with my buds here, that we only had one particular small bottle of something in the house, and it wasn't because I hadn't received yours.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly a distinction. Now, I don't understand it. I know we've talked about the quality of what you've done and how your particles, there are more of them. But when people have a response and they say, I can't believe I can breathe, there's no other place to go. The other part of this that I would love for you to talk about too is there are different things there are different products that you have. And for lack of a better word, products, but there are solutions. There are different solutions on your website. And I want to talk about a couple of them. But the most important thing that I was asked is, Pat, you're always talking about the gut and the brain. And I don't understand. I don't understand how the silver works. And I said, well, let's just have like, how does the nasal spray help my gut? And I said, well, okay, it's coming in your nose, it's going down your throat. Where do you think it goes after that? But I wanted you to explain the relationship between the gut, the brain, the connection, and what people have said to you that's given them relief in that area.
Sure. So if we look at the digestive system, we look at the microbiome and the gut-brain connection, is we know that in our digestive system, it's a hot, acidic environment. And I like to sort of phrase it as a war, let's say, is we've got this battle going on between good and evil, right? And, our immune system's working in overdrive. We've got this onslaught of, bad bacteria, fungus, candida, molds, and candida is a fungus, but we've just got this war happening in our digestive system. And as we continue to feed it with chemicals and unnatural substances, and unnatural substances, come from boxes of food and fast foods, and even our good food sprayed with chemicals. So as we continue to feed the what's making us sick, right, then we need to have something on our side, and let's say something on the side of our immune system and something on the side of our digestive system that's going to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to come in and I'm going to help you out, body. I'm going to come and help you to support your immune system and support your body into feeling better and tackling the what's making it sick. So when we look at silver, and this isn't me speaking, this is thousands and thousands of research papers saying, what does silver do? Well, silver naturally cleanses yeast, bacteria, fungus, and mold, right? So
that's a big, those are four big things.
Workload. but here's probably the most important thing to know about silver in comparison to any other vitamin, mineral, or herb. And if you were to see my office, it looks like a health food store. I've got stuff in here. But here's where silver is absolutely different than any other supplement, is it doesn't metabolize. And what does that mean? It means that when it's introduced to the body, it's working in harmony with the immune system, but it doesn't require the digestive system to break it down in order to be useful. So when we look at probiotics, when we look at all sorts of different supplements, they get introduced to the body, you swallow them as a pill or drink them as a drink, and they end up in the digestive system. Well, if the digestive system is sick and overworked and has to command another function to break that down, when we're talking about what we were talking about in this war going on, there's not enough soldiers, let's say, to break that down. And what's it going to do? It's just going to go right out the waste system. And that's where there's pictures on the internet and all that kind of stuff of when people clean outhouses after an event, they're full of supplements that have passed through people's bodies. So silver's different in the fact that it's not metabolizing. It's not saying to the digestive system, I need you to break me down in order to be useful. It's available in action, in combat, as soon as it goes into the body. And as it circulates through the body, it's doing what it was designed to do. And like I say, that's combating yeast and bacteria and fungus and mold. Is it bringing healing to the body? I'm going to say no. What it's doing is it's cleansing the things out that are making you not feel very good. And if anybody wants to put two and two together and just kind of take what I'm saying a step further to think about, is that going to make a positive difference in my life? Well, I'll let you make that determination.
Well, let me talk about that for a minute from my personal experience, right? I mean, because I have personal experience with it. There's something magical that we have, and it's called the human body. It is a pure machine. It is a miracle how it works. I don't know when we're going to fully understand everything about it. They're still trying to figure out the brain. But it is really a magnificent machine. But it's like any machine, right? You put oil in your gas tank, and what is going to happen to that engine? Hello. Try it in a lawnmower. Just had it happen. But even if you get it in there, what are you going to use to clean that out? You're going to throw your lawnmower away? Or are you going to try to clean it out? See, that's what you and I are talking about. We are subjected in our day and age to so many impurities. That's my word.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing them, digging in the dirt. I found out 3 days ago can give you something called MAC lung. Friend of mine has it. But here's the question. If we were to remove these things, wouldn't the body be like super happy, Doug? Just saying.
The body would be delighted. The body would be ecstatic. And that's, like I say, when we look at our approach to wellness, we can make all the supplements in the world, right? And we can get the absolute best things into the body to help the body, I'm going to say, course correct itself. But one of the most important things that we have to say to people as well is, aside what Dr. Google says and Mr. Internet says and Captain Facebook and everything says, that, you know, you can buy a pill and lose 30 pounds, or you can buy a magic pill and everything's going to go away. That pill hasn't been invented yet, because there is no magic pill that's going to fix all your problems.
Yeah. And
Personally,
so what you're talking about, look, is, let me flip it on you. What is obstructing the body from being happy? Let's try that. I mean, like the rest of us, what gets me down? Well, working too dang hard. Yeah, just getting all fired up, keep working. Working. Well,
the journey to wellness is actually easier than you think. And what I'm going to say here kind of flies in the face of what everybody else is saying, because I can't monetize it. And everybody in the space wants to write books and come up with $1,500 programs or $7.99, you know, join my coaching program for a week or a month or whatever. We'll just give it to you simple, for free. Cut out the chemicals, cut out the toxins, cut out the synthetics that you're putting into your body is step one, right? Focus on good food, good water, good sleep, good exercise, and focus on what you're putting into your body through looking at this thing in the TV and what you're listening to. That's going to make a huge difference right there in anybody's health, no matter what condition they're in. Secondly, give the body what the body needs for the body to heal itself. And unfortunately, we're not getting the things into the human body that the body needs to heal itself anymore, which used to be our fruits, our vegetables, our foods, our everything. Unfortunately, you know, our soils are depleted and our foods don't have it anymore. So good, honest, clean supplementation. And whenever you're looking at a health supplement, don't look at the front of the bottle, look at the supplement facts, right? And most importantly, look below, because a lot of supplements will have sugars and all sorts of chemicals in them. So what makes us different? And you keep talking about our product and what you experienced by using our product versus, you know, a different product. It all boils down to the supplement facts. What's the difference? Is we're doing everything possible to get these supplements that we create, whether it's the silver, to get these products into the human body in their most natural state, so that they can complement the body's own healing journey. And it's that easy. Alkalinity, we do a silver that's alkaline because we know internally we want to get the body alkaline. Externally on our skin, we want to have it slightly acidic to match the pH of the skin. So we want to make sure that we're not playing creator in our products. We're given what the creator gave us to get into the human body, and not going and thinking, you know, I can do this better. I can do it differently. If I only add this to it, or if I only change that, I can make it better. No, it's proven time and time again that if I try to do something better than what it was created to be, we're going to see it not work as good. And it's that easy.
Yeah. I was really struck by, and of course, I'm one of these people that said, okay, take the nasal spray and just do it. And then here, go to the website and look at it. And a couple of questions came up, and I want to make sure I get them. One of them is, let's talk about children and our animal friends. Give us give us where you are with that, because this is where I think people get a little bit confused, even after you and I are talking about the fact that doesn't get absorbed. You see, we still get a little bit confused, right? So I just need to remind people our experience of it and where we are with it.
So whether it's the human body, irregardless of what the age is, whether it's our furry friends or our winged friends, any of our friends that are animals except for fish, we don't recommend it for fish.
Yeah.
But like, we've got countless stories of working with pets, and we work with horses and horse breeders. We work with dogs, because dogs and cats suffer from the same things that we're as humans suffering, and their food's compromised like our food is. Like, there's a lot of things that are going on with our pets nowadays, as well as our human bodies. So if we just take it to science for a second and realize that there's a human body, there's an animal body, both will have assaults against them. Let's say here's a good here's what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
Kids, same thing. Kids have these hyperactive immune systems, but the difference between kids and us is kids are touching everything and putting everything in their mouth, right? And
that was us last weekend, and we were not kids.
Right, totally. So when we look at just the common sense aspect of it for a second, let's keep the immune system strong, right? Because once again, the body's going to combat the nasties that are getting introduced to the body if we can keep the immune system strong. What keeps the immune system strong? It's keeping the body cleansed of yeast, bacteria, fungus, mold, right? It's keeping the body cleansed of the things that we could have the immune system fighting a battle against over here when it's needed over here, because there's only so much immune system to go around, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes when somebody gets sick, all of a sudden they're like, man, I've got all of these other problems happening with me. And they think all of these other problems are new, but actually they're not. It's just the immune system was keeping those at bay and keeping those, was working on those for, years, months, however long it may be. Now all of a sudden we get this other illness, and it's like, wow, it just kind of, the immune system throws its hands up in the air and says, I'm done, right? And that's where we get into autoimmune conditions and all of these different things. So whatever we can do to support the immune system and take that workload so that it can do what it's supposed to do. And that's our approach to health, is complementing the immune system every way we can.
I want to ask you this. I know our time is short, but I want to ask you this question too, and because I alluded to it, and I think we should probably do a show about this, like we talked about. I talked about what happens in my body. Sometimes when I'm really in bad shape, especially when I was so filled with Lyme co-infections, that's what I call them. We now know there's a gigantic list this had to be done in layers for me, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I say, when my doctor, I love Dr. Darvish, would say to me, don't worry, you may get a little worse before you get better, but it will not last. What she was explaining to me is that I'm really not getting worse, that I just might feel worse, because what's happening in my system, correct, is that these things that don't belong there are being asked to leave. And sometimes that process could be a little bit daunting.
It can be, and we should do an episode on this. And
I'd love to.
And I can share sort of my healing journey as well, where
Let's do that.
Many days where I just wanted to throw my hands in the air and say, I'm done. And here I am in a fortunate position to be surrounded with all sorts of supplementation and, like just pure raw ingredient, even before it becomes a supplement. and we all go through that. So I would love to talk about that.
Let's do that next. Because, one of the things I also want to talk about is I want folks to go to the website for themselves. I say Ameo Life. You could say Ameo Life, AMEO life.com. But one of the things I do, I look at reviews. Even for the lemongrass silver soap, you have 5-star reviews across the board. And it is difficult in today's world to get a 5-star review for anything. And so I know that what you all do is you look at this, you get feedback, you make a change. And this is why people keep coming back. This is why I keep coming back to you. Doug,
you know what saddens me? I've got over 500, if not 1,000 5-star reviews on the back end of our website that you can't see because it's people sharing their stories, and anything we publish on our website can be construed as a healing, treating, or curing claim. So we have to actually hide all of the great stories. So the ones that if somebody's watching and listening here and they're reading the reviews, that's the touchy-feely stuff. But and we're so grateful for those reviews. But it just saddens me that the real meat and potatoes we can't show.
I totally get it, because in order for me to share some things, I had to really take my research and do both quantitative and qualitative results. That's how I was able to put the anecdotal data in. And it was fascinating. Maybe we should do a meta study. That's something I'm game for that.
We're going to be doing this together for years to come.
Oh my God. I got to tell you something about this. Sometimes I'm a researcher. You're a researcher. We cross our T's, we dot our I's. But there's nothing more powerful than sharing healing. That's what we're going to do when we come back and we do the next show. Doug, thank you for today. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
We want to help. We want to be a part of people's journey. And, this is a mission for us. This is like what gets us up in the morning is the stories, is, seeing what's happening with you and seeing what's happening with people, and just being able to be a proactive part of somebody's journey to better wellness. So I invite anybody to come and take a look at us, give us a call, drop your questions. If you're feeling stuck, I truly hope that people find a home with what they find with us, and we're able to be a big part of the new them or the new you.
Yeah. Please read what people are saying, especially for me. When you go to look and you look at the extra strength silver gel, take a look at what people are saying, how they're doing, what they're doing with their kids, what they're doing for themselves. Please read some of this. Everything from diaper rash to really abscesses, it's all here. People are sharing this. Doug, thank you so much. Again, let's give out that website if you could.
www.ameolife.com. Our phone number 1-800-422-8148, and we're here to help, and we look forward to seeing you soon, and we'll be back with you before we know it. Can't wait.
And I want to say to everybody, on the next episode, Doug and I are going to take you on a healing journey. We're going to talk about our experience in life. What does that mean? We're going to share with you what it was like to be diagnosed with things that nobody understood what it was like, but what it took for me in particular to say yes to natural medicine, and what I learned and why I'm alive today. Doug, I can't thank you all enough. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody, we'll see you next time. Hi, everyone. Dr. Pat here, host of the Dr. Pat Show. For about 20 years, you've heard me talk about silver and the importance of silver. I've been looking upside down and sideways to find silver that was the highest quality, and I think I found it. No, actually, I know I found it. I discovered this in my own healing journey, and that's what we used for me. Ameo Life has the most advanced silver available today. All things that harm our health is what it takes care of. Now, I thought I'd seen it all because I've been on this journey for 20 years with silver, but I've not quite found anything like Ameo Life. The folks and our friends at Ameo Life have put together a special discount for your first purchase of 20% off. AmeoLife.com. AMEO Life.com. Remember to give them a call. Tell them Dr. Pat sent you at 1-800-422-8148. I've already sent it to my naturopath.